Georgia amendment. I'll just read the first what it would do, right? Amendment 1, it's on everyone's ballot. The proposed amendment would authorize the state legislature to implement a statewide local option homestead exemption from ad valorem taxes. The exemption would need to be uniformly applicable to each county, consolidated government, municipality, or local school system beginning January 1st, 2025. And I thought to myself, when I read the amendment on the ballot, I had no idea what I just read. And because of my political leanings, I said, oh, tax, no. That's immediately what I said. Oh, they want to tax it? No. I just said no. But I had no idea what I was voting on. And I suspect a lot of people don't. So first, as a realtor, Amendment 1, can you kind of break it down for us in layman's terms, but then also tell us, is this a good thing for property owners?
So the first thing is when bureaucrats write language that regular people don't understand, that's not helpful. Nobody understood that language. And I, as a realtor, as a taxpayer, as a homeowner, as a citizen, I don't appreciate language that seems to be intentionally to confuse people. So then it goes to, am I for taxes or against taxes? Well, the fact is things are expensive. It costs money, and schools, roads, everything needs to be paid for. And our politicians are supposed to break that down into manageable chunks so that we all want our kids to have good schools. Right. Nobody's against
good
schools.
Right.
Nobody's against good roads.
Right.
And they have to be paid for. But what I saw happen in the last several years is many counties were delayed in doing assessments.
Now, what does that mean when you say delayed in assessments?
So property taxes are paid on the value of a house. So even though the millage rate is the percentage that each local municipality, county, whatever, how they calculate the taxes that a homeowner has to pay, that millage rate is based on the property value. We know since COVID, since 2019 and 2020, property values in the Atlanta metro area increased rapidly. They went up really, really fast. And the counties, because of COVID and shutdowns and everything, they did not do property assessments on an annual basis. So what happened last year was many people got a bill for their property taxes that was a lot higher than it had been. And
because their value had gone up.
Their value had gone up. So taxes didn't go up, but the property value went up. So the assessed value went up. And as a result, people are paying more taxes, and there was a huge uproar. People wanted to appeal. Like, there's lots of things, and you can appeal that assessment, but after the fact, our property values did go up a lot.
Right.
So I think it's possible that the state is now trying to cap how fast and how much a local municipality can increase the property taxes.
So that's good.
Yeah, that part's good.
So Deborah Morton.
But so we got to look at it.
Right.
So, like, this is an interesting conversation, because do we want the state to have more authority, or do we want our local municipalities to have more authority? Think about the differences in our region, just in the Atlanta metro area. The way the population of Cobb County is totally different when you think about if the state is writing legislation that applies to all. Are these small towns, small counties in southern Georgia or central Georgia where they don't have the big populations? Like Troup County, very different than Gwinnett County.
Absolutely.
And so who should be in charge? Is it local jurisdiction or is it state? Are those needed? Like, that's a bigger conversation that needs to happen. Right. I'm very salty about how these things are. You seem like it.
You came in here fired up about this.
I did, because regular people need to know. It's not clear. And I'm all about, I'm all about clarity. Let's bring clarity to real estate so that people understand what they're doing. And this wasn't written clearly.
So bottom line, as the show is called Inside Georgia Real Estate with Deborah Morton, does this impact a property owner? Or is he or she going to be paying more?
No.
Okay.
I mean, no. The property value is what it is. The millage rate is what it is.
Gotcha.
What this proposal is to cap how much the increase can go up on an annual basis.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, that's okay, but depending on where you live,
Right.
It's a much more complex issue, but it's not going to impact. Shelley, if you want to buy a house in Gwinnett, cool. This amendment is not going to impact your decision on buying or selling for that matter.
Gotcha.
This is more a taxation and economics of Georgia question.
Gotcha. And something that you're very passionate about because you came in here hot. You came in here hot and you showed it to me and it was pretty funny. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. That's the number to call. The name of the show is Inside Georgia Real Estate. That's the number to call us if you have any questions for Deborah Morton of Clario Real Estate. A couple weeks ago, the rates, interest rates came down. We talked about it. We had the mortgage guys on and everything like that. On the ground, you're talking to people buying and selling every day. Are you seeing changes in pricing at all since the rates have come down?
Well, unfortunately, they eked back up again. So that Fed rate cut, remember how we talked about
Right.
it? It is not, the Fed doesn't control mortgage rate. That's a whole different conversation. Right. So rates have come back up just a little bit. I do see right now in the marketplace kind of a little bit of a slowdown, stagnation. And my opinion is that it's election related. Everybody is nervous. What's going to happen? And I'm sorry, I don't care which side you're on. People need houses, and in 2 weeks, we'll know what
Right.
direction we're going, and people will need to sell and buy houses. Right now, when there's fear in the marketplace, nothing happens. And it's not just in housing. I was just listening to the Car Guys show.
Right.
Retail in general, everything is kind of slow right now because nobody wants to commit. And it's not that they don't even have the money or the need or the desire. They're just like, ooh, wait, let's see what happens. I talked to deferred maintenance items, roofers, or if you're
Right.
thinking about putting in a pool or a patio or buying a car, that's just across the board.
So you've seen it tick back up after the rate drop, but it'll come back down, you think, after the election? Because
You mean rates or activity? Because
both.
inventory levels are still very, very low. We have more standing inventory than we did a few months ago, but the average in the area is still, we call it months of inventory.
Gotcha.
If no new houses hit the market, how long would it take us to sell out the inventory? And right now we're looking at 2 to 3 months. A balanced market where it's equal between buyers and sellers is a 6-month inventory. So what we're seeing is more standing inventory than we had, but still not a lot. And low inventory will cause prices to go up. As soon as people are comfortable and rates come down a little bit and there's more buyers, there's still not enough houses for the number of buyers. And we're still selling houses, like, because people need, it's homes. This is, it is economics. It is a lot of things, but if you need a place to live, you need a place. And if you have to sell a house, it doesn't matter what's going on with the election or rates. You have to relocate. You have to do it.
Deborah, you mentioned a pool.
Yeah.
I've always been curious. How much does a normal standard pool in your backyard, how much does that add to the value of your home?
Do you mean an above ground pool or an in-ground pool?
Oh, only in-ground.
In-ground pool.
Yeah.
So you see the difference is it depends on the home, and nobody wants that above ground pool that has green water in a slot, the stairs
but is there
that
a
are
standard
missing.
number that it would give you?
No, there's not. No, it's not. It's not at all. Like, depending on, is it an in-ground? Does it have a spa? Is it gunite? Is it salt water? Is it chlorine? What kind of condition is it in?
Gotcha.
If it's a vinyl liner that's all tore up.
Gotcha.
How does it look? Is there a patio around it? So it's the overall assessment. And just as many people don't want homes with pools as do. As great as a pool is in Georgia,
Right.
it also requires work and there's expense to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great show. Love the conversation. I think we don't always separate the categories into those that continue to live, like, say, in Gwinnett. You mentioned Gwinnett, where I live. I've lived here 35 years. Taxes only go up. And so the price of my home going up doesn't really help me until I switch categories, which is the sell. And so each year we do pay more and more, but I still have never seen in 35 years a beat cop on my neighborhood. I don't see any better services. I don't see better roads. And so that really is the split for us. If you stay in a community, you take a beating. If you leave, your house is worth more and you can sell and make more. But it's the people that stay that really just kind of get hosed with these increased rates.
So I'm the real estate expert. And the first thing I want to point out, and thank you for calling, because I do think this is an important topic. Everyone needs to be
Absolutely, especially
aware
around election time.
and homeowners need to
Right.
be conscious of it, because there are a couple things, but it's not just Gwinnett County. Has anybody had their taxes go down ever?
Never.
Never.
So it's not just the pain you're feeling in Gwinnett County, DeKalb County, Fulton County, all of the metro, all the counties are feeling it. Now, the thing about this particular amendment by the state capping the limit on increases that could happen, one of the suggestions was the fear is there's going to be less money that's needed for schools and for all the things that we need. I agree with you with the services piece, but let me just to step away from that. The solution would be, and one of the solutions proposed is a different type of, they didn't call it a sploss, they called it a floss. But what that would do is increase sales taxes so that the burden of taxes don't remain squarely on the homeowner's shoulders.
Right.
What that
Good
would
plan.
be, would be where anybody who buys anything,
Something, right.
like if you're renting, if you're visiting the area, if you have an area where we've got tourism coming to the marketplace and they eat and they drink and they buy things, those taxes would maybe not, then it wouldn't fully be on the homeowner's shoulders
Right.
to pay all the taxes for all the things.
Fair tax kind of philosophy, spread it around to those
Yeah.
that buy those services.
Great call, Kevin. We appreciate you.
No, great show, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Deborah, as you're traveling about and you're meeting customers and clients, what is the preferred kind of thing that realtors look for? Is it someone selling a home or someone buying a home?
Oh, Shelley, that's funny. So I'm well aware of the reputation realtors have. And it's not good. It's not favorable. If you were to poll a lot of people,
I've never heard anything. No, seriously. I'm being honest. I've never heard anything. I've heard things bad about politicians, about lawyers, and things like that. But realtors, I've never heard, anything. I've
good.
never heard.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
Thank you for
is
saying
true.
that.
This is true.
So a lot of people think realtors just go and they'll sell anything, they'll say anything. They're salespeople in sales, but there are lots of great agents out there who really genuinely care about their clients. So if I'm going to help you, if you need to buy, I'm all in on helping you buy. If you need to sell, I'm going to maximize your sale for your benefit.
Right.
The real good ones are good at navigating the buying and selling simultaneously. That's the piece of effort. It's not like we're out looking for a perfect property. It would be great if we all had luxury properties to sell that were in
Right.
perfect condition and looked like a magazine. But most real people have real houses that have been lived in. And
Right.
my job is to sell them the best way possible.
Harry from Gwinnett County called in. He said his taxes since he turned 65 have lowered substantially.
So thank you, Barry. I'm sorry you couldn't stay on the phone longer with us, but in our area, there are substantial savings. There are exemptions every county offers, and they're different county by county. A homestead exemption would be if you live in your home, you're entitled to a homestead exemption is a discount versus somebody who lives out of the home or out of state and is a rental property. There are senior exemptions. So
you can have a homestead and a senior, two
right.
exemptions.
When you hit, every county has different ages, 62, 65, 67. There are discounts where seniors no longer pay property taxes. That is a huge benefit and savings. Not every county offers them.
Right.
If you have more questions about that, if you're like approaching 62 trying to decide where you want to live, that is a very important thing to look at because the school taxes are the biggest chunk of property taxes. So if you can stay in your current home because you're in a county where your taxes are going to drop, that can be a significant savings.
Absolutely. Or if you're in a county where it's not going to, you might.
Right. If you're looking at, I want to move to this place
Right.
and they don't offer that discount.
That's interesting because I never knew that was even offered, right? Because
You're young.
Right. Yeah. And but the other thing is, how is it possible that not every county offers it?
Well, and that's the thing, it is local control.
Right.
Local municipalities have the authority to put in and implement. And here's the benefit. We haven't had a mass exodus of people to Florida. We have a nice, vibrant, and healthy communities because of it. We don't want all our seniors to leave because
Right.
it's too expensive. That's what happened in New Jersey and
Absolutely.
up north.
Great call. Great answer there. Thank you, Barry, for calling. And Lainey in Gainesville. Go ahead, Lainey.
Hi, how are y'all today?
Hi,
Wonderful.
lady.
Hey, I'm calling because we have a house that we've lived in since 1991. It's up in Lake Lanier, and it's in really good shape. We remodeled the kitchen about 10 years ago with just the cabinets, countertops, opened it up a little bit. We couldn't open it up entirely because of the structure. My question is that I've got the original flooring. It's saltillo tiles, which are beautiful, but they need to go. And we're just trying to figure out if we should do that before we put it on the market, or if we should just leave it and let any new homeowner make their decision for that.
So this is something that if your agent should guide you through this, because the answer is going to be based on what is the competition. If somebody were looking to purchase your home and they would look at maybe 3 or 4 other homes in the area, you don't want your home eliminated as an option to purchase because of the floors. If that were the case, then my answer would probably be yes. I would also be looking at what is the cost of replacing that floor, and are you going to make more money by replacing the floor? If you can sell your home for top dollar without replacing that floor, then by all means leave it for the next homeowner. And then it's a preference choice, but it would be based on that. Now, there are great staging companies and designers who will do a consultation. If your agent doesn't provide that as a service to you, you can do that on your own. We, like my company, we include that as part of what we do because it's so important to get the right.
Explain what that means. Explain what you mean by.
So my job is to evaluate all of the other homes, like what is going to be the top dollar your house sells for. And that is based on your neighbors, the comparable homes that sold in the last 6 months in the area. And what is the competition? If there are 10 other homes that are similar size, price in the area of your home, how are we going to make your home stand out to be selected? Not to mention bring the top dollar out of those 10 homes that are available. So it's a combination of all of those things. And I always like to look at what is the cost of repair. You know, like some people say, oh, I need to redo kitchens and bathrooms because that's where that brings money. Yes, it does, but it's not always necessary because there's zero competition in the area.
Lainey, you can also go to InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com and you could send a question through there.
Yeah, Lainey, I mean, reach out. I'll send you. I have a lot of good blog posts about this. We have some before and after pictures of like before renovation, after renovation, and what the difference of value. But Gainesville is not the same as Cumming. And even though they're sort of in the area, you have to look at on the lake. There's different expectations as off the lake.
Right.
So,
Correct.
yes, who's the buyer for your home?
Go ahead, Lainey.
Okay, what I was going to say just quickly is that my address is a Gainesville address, but I am in Forsyth County. And I do know that houses just are all around me, just get snapped up. And that's where I am on that. But yeah, that's good advice to check with a local real estate that knows the lake.
Yes.
And go to InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. Okay.
If you want a referral, Lainey, to somebody who works lakefront, just shoot me a message. I've got a really good connection who knows the lakefront and markets specifically to lakefront.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for listening.
And that would be that email is igre@wsbradio.com.
Or you can find me on Instagram too.
Oh,
Inside Georgia Real Estate or Clario Real Estate on Instagram. Shoot me a DM. I answer my own messages.
All right, Lainey.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, I got a surprise for you here. Dan in Hiram is calling in. He doesn't have a question. He's just got some kudos for you. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah.
Dan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I am here.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Dan from Hiram. You didn't used to live in I know who I'm talking
Is it
to.
Dan, go ahead and talk. You're on the radio, sir. Okay, Dan's got some phone problems. Dan, call back, please. Go ahead, Deborah.
I remember Dan. Dan and his lovely wife, I sold their house for them a while back. I actually started working with them a full year before they sold their home. And they were downsizing, and that is kind of my niche thing.
Right.
And we put, like Lady was saying, we put a good plan together because they had lived in their home a long time, raised their kids, and there were some updates that needed to happen.
Right, of course.
And those updates made financial sense to do.
Give us an example of an update. Like Lainey was talking about flooring, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Flooring, wallpaper. Like if you've lived with wallpaper for years and years, wallpaper is back in style,
Really?
believe it or not, but not all of them.
Right.
Those florals and the bold colors, and it's fun to go into what we call a vintage house now. But what we have to look at is, does that need to be, does today's modern buyer who generally wants a move-in ready home, how will they perceive it?
Right. Well, what are some of the things, like you said, flooring, the wallpaper? What are just some other things that people can do kind of, I hate to say it like this, but on the cheap that increases the value? Because it seems like brand new flooring is going to be expensive.
Well, and it depends on your selection, but it also depends. If you have a $1 million+ home, you don't want to do it on the cheap because your buyer expects quality.
Well, because it's $1 million.
Right.
Okay.
Now, just because it's a lower price home doesn't mean they don't deserve quality. So the selections matter a lot. Yes, but carpet versus LVP versus hardwood versus tile, luxury vinyl plank. It's an engineered product that is super durable. If you have a house with kids and dogs, you want something that's durable.
Does it look like wood?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so many great options. And I have some great vendors who, again, I'm not the flooring expert, but what I know is if this is a home in a community where we expect the buyer to have kids and dogs and life, and they need something durable, they don't want a fragile, soft hardwood floor.
Gotcha.
A luxury home, you want real hardwood.
Let's go to Dan again. Dan, did you get your phone straightened out, Dan?
It's all straightened out.
All right, go ahead, Dan.
Moving in between places. I just have to tell you, Shelley, Deborah sold our house back in February, and when we first started, she came to us on a referral from someone else in our neighborhood, and we thought about it. When we talked to her, we were just absolutely in love with her presentation. And then when it came down to actually getting into a contract and selling a home, just like everybody, she says, well, this is what you should do, and this is what you probably should do to make it look better and all this. And we looked at each other and we kept thinking, oh my gosh, all we could see is, dollar signs rolling in front of us. And not only that, but then Deborah sat down and explained to us and helped us how she could help us with that as far as people she knew who does the work and all of this. And so as an agent, she is a complete agent in doing everything. Not only did she sell the house, but she helped us prepare how to sell the house. And then she helped us prepare how to, prep the house to sell it. And so she went through the whole process with us, and she earned every penny that she made. It was fantastic.
What was so fun about that? Thank you so much for calling in, Dan. And the buyer of Dan's house was just fantastic. It is a beautiful thing when we had somebody moving from out of state. They came to our open house. We got to show them around all the nuances. They had some really cool slide out drawers in their pantry, and stuff like that matters when you're selling. And the buyer was delightful, and it was a good win all the way around.
Dan, do you listen to Mark Aram and my show?
Oh, I do. I listen to your show all the time, and once in a while to Mark. The timing doesn't work good for me sometimes.
Gotcha. Well, I just want to
listen to you as much as.
I appreciate that, Barry. I just want to do something, then you would be familiar with this based on your call. You get the bell, Dan. You get the bell. Thank you for calling, Dan. Have a wonderful day, and congratulations on your new home.
Tell Loretta hello.
Loretta and Dan. Let's get Dan another bell.
Yeah.
Let's go to this call. This is Joe in Loganville. Hey, Joe.
How are you?
Wonderful. What's your question there, young man?
The question is, we presently reside in Gwinnett in a home of approximately 6,000 square feet that's built completely around my daughter's disability, being a wheelchair accessible home with lower light switches, pocket doors, lower cabinets in the kitchen, anything that would help her to be mobile within the house. We are looking maybe to sell and move on, but we would need a home that's accessibly ready. Is that something that is doable?
Yes, it will take more work and effort on your part, your agent's part, on everyone's part, because there are fewer homes that are,
Right.
just available. I don't know how much of the work you did yourself over the years to make your home completely accessible. I would say I'm seeing more, but the homes that I'm seeing that are accessible, builder built accessible, tend to be more the active adult communities. You've got the wider doorways already built in. You've got the stepless shower, the zero, much easier where you
Right.
can move
Walk
to
in.
wheelchair or walker.
Could Joe look at something like active adult
Oh,
community?
absolutely. But 6,000 square feet is huge. And
Gotcha.
I don't see a lot of active adult communities with 6,000 square foot floor plans. 3,000 is about the normal that I see and less.
Is
But
there hope for Joe?
of course, there's hope for Joe. Joe, there's definitely hope. And as you know, homes can be modified. We find a one level perfect home. Ramps can be added. Light switches can be lowered. These things can happen. And yes, everything costs money, of course. But there might be somebody out there that needs an accessible, your home at 6,000 square feet might be the perfect fit for somebody. Will it be for everybody? Definitely not. But somebody out there will want it.
I can do that, and thank you for your time.
Thank you
you.
for listening, Joe.
Last words before we go off for the weekend, my sister.
Oh, stay calm out there, everybody. Life goes on. We're going to get through this period. Everybody be nice to each other.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. I know what you're talking about.
Yes. Yes.
Be nice to each other, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Even your talk show host and your realtors. Give out the information one last time before we go.
Hey, follow me on Instagram, Inside Georgia Real Estate and Clario Real Estate. You can reach out anytime by email or through the website. I'm glad to help you answer questions. And if I can't help you, I will refer you to somebody local and specific to your area that can help you.
God bless you all. Have a wonderful weekend.